everyone, today we're going to be doing a deep dive analysis into everything to do with the Magical Sanctum. So let's get straight into it. The Magical Sanctum, as you guys all know, will feature all 4 magical elements, including the light, psychic, fairy, and bone elements. It will feature a huge roster of new monsters. On Magical Islands, we usually get just 8 monsters that are new. However, now, on this island, seeing as though we aren't going to be seeing any natural monsters, it now means that we are going to be getting 11 new magical monsters, going from all the combinations with the elements that we can muster up. If you have a look at all as elementals, then that means that we'll have 6 double elementals, 4 triple elementals, and of course there's 1 quad elemental. And all of those will be brand new monsters. Literally all the double, triple, and quad elementals are going to be brand new, which is going to be insane to check out in-game. Now, I think something that's important to question with this island is whether magicals will return on this island. We know that Flute, Fly, Clacula, and all the magical single elementals are going to be coming over to this island, and we did originally suspect with the return of the magicals that we'd be seeing a teleportation island where you'd be traveling all your magicals, all your Pechidnas, your Tapricons over onto this glorious Gold Island-like island. However, it looks like they've taken a new spin on it, and they are just going to be having the magical single elementals on this island, which is even better as it means even more new magical monsters will be able to be released, which is so exciting. And I'm really glad they went down this route, as I think it just gives the game a lot more chance to grow, as we'll be seeing more new monsters. The fact that we're getting new monsters, 11 new monsters out of Magical Sanctum, is going to be amazing. Now let's delve into all of the Magical Sanctum new monsters that we know about. So first of all, we have our blue gas-like monster. It's part of the Ghast family. We have the Pomely, the Pom-Pom family, but now we have the Gas family forming here. We have all the gas variants and also this new monster that is going to be on Magical Sanctum, which is going to be really cool to check out. It looks like they've taken a lot of inspiration with the orbs. If we have a look here, they have a caterpillar-like body going upwards, and it looks like they have a Ghast mouth too, and really long ears, and it looks really, really cool. It isn't translucent, like to our Ghast, its family member, which is wonderful that they're taking this cat-like-esque monster, putting more of a feminine touch to it, and giving it a bit of a glow-up. It's also very interesting to see the loading screen teaser turn out to be an actual new monster, rather than what we were originally expecting for it to be, which was Epic Geode, and it is much better that it turned out this way. As for the instrument that this monster will play, its ears seem really out there, so I would assume that they may do something with their ears during the song. However, I think the most obvious thing that they will do is that they will play their orbs, and it will make a lovely sound. I believe that it will be a Ghast-like instrument, and we'll be seeing a Ghast instrument once again be integrated into this monster. I don't think it's going to be literally the exact same to Ghast instrument. If I were to guess, seeing as though we've got a more feminine touch to this monster, I would assume that we may get a more higher pitched version of Ghast sound, and I think that may be played as this monster trails across their orbs alike to Ghast. It's going to be interesting to see how the orbs animate too. I imagine they're just going to go up and down, so we'll have to see how that works. If the ears are a part of its instrument, I would say that they may clap together and make a thud-like noise, but I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. I think they're just nice stunts that they've got there. If we have a look at the material of them, it looks like the wood, and it doesn't appear as though they're quite unmovable. It's questionable though. I suppose we'll have to see on that one. To the upper left as well, we have a yellow-like Toejammer monster, and indeed it definitely does look like Toejammer, specifically Epic Toejammer, seeing as though it only has one eye. To the left of it, we can see spots on it, and it looks like a tropical tree, and it's a very chill, dopey-looking monster. It doesn't appear to be taking much note of its surroundings, and we love that. As towards how this one's gonna make it sound, I would assume that it will be related to it either A, jumping up and down. However, I think that is a bit too strenuous, and it doesn't appear to be the sort for enormous amounts of energy being executed within its animations. So I would assume it's related to its tropical tree coming from its body, and going from that, I would say that it's going to move up and down this this tree at the top of it, and it's going to make a sound from that. As the camera pans out, we also see another Magical Sanctum monster behind a tree as well. This one has 4 hands, and it's really, really unique. This throws me back to the Wobblins and those kind of mutant monsters that we see sometimes. The design of it differs immensely to the other monsters that we see in game, which is glorious, as that's what all the Magicals are about, being wonderful and unique. And you know what? Towards the top of it, we have leaves coming off of it, and it's a stump-like monster. It has some really huge hands. It looks similar to Flower, this one, in a sense, with its huge grasping hands coming outwards. And I would say that this may be a vocalist, if I was to assume towards what it may be, as it doesn't appear as though there would be quite as much of a way for them to make a sound with their fists. They appear to be rather large, but maybe they're going to prove me wrong. I don't know. But it appears to be very complicated. Its hands as towards how it would make a sound. If I was to say, though, I would say that it would be similar to Harlow if it was to make an instrumental sound, but I have my bets on this one being a vocalist. I think the Gaslight one is going to be an instrumentalist, and the Tree Stump one obviously doesn't have a mouth, so that's an instrumental monster as well, and I would say that this one is going to be a vocalist. As for the elements of these monsters, I would say that the blue Gast family member is going to be a psychic and light monster. We can see the psychic resemblance going on there. They have a psychic-like form. The psychic element is as well, I would say, associated to Gast in a sense too, as it seems to have some similarities there, so that would make a lot of sense for them to have that one. And obviously light as well, as their orbs will light up as they go along them. The tropical tree one, I would say, is bone and psychic. You can tell it's a psychic-like monster. If we have a look at Psychic Island, it just takes elements of the psychic elements. That's a weird sentence there, but we're going with it, guys. But as for the bone element, this is one that I just came up with on the spots out of which element I thought it would resemble the most other than the psychic element. To me, it's hard to work out whether it would follow the bone element or whether it's another one. I was stuck as to what other element it would be. If I was to choose I just chose bone though, because like Hollow's part of the bone element, and it seems to fit into that kind of class well, but then again, it could be another one, as the bone element doesn't seem to fit quite with it. I'm not sure. Honestly, it doesn't seem to fit any of the other elements besides psychic. Maybe its sound will tie into its element in some way, and that would explain why it may be associated to an element that we're not quite seeing here. As for the stump-like one, I would say that that is very just going off of its vibe, and the fairy element being all about fairy tales, and this being a very out there monster as with Bean Over, I would say that it's taking some inspiration from that. And bone, once again, just purely from the fact that Harlow is part of the bone family, so therefore it might fit into the bone family, I thought, once again. But again, that's questionable as well. What are we going to get in update 3.1 then? It could just be 3 monsters for now that we could be receiving in update 3.1. That does seem to be the most likely conclusion to draw up as of this trailer, as those are the only monsters that were shown. They could have chose to integrate more monsters into the ending so we could get more teasers. However, they only showcase them 3, indicating that we are only going to get those 3 upon release, which is great, because that means that we will be seeing new magical monsters just like to Light Island in the coming weeks after Magical Sanctum's release, which is glorious. I loved how Light Island was released, as it gives us a chance to just go over each monster individually rather than discovering them all at once, and there not being a chance to discover each one in an individual setting, as I feel like just putting one out there every single week gives more of a chance for each monster to shine, and it will lead to a more exciting experience, I would say, out of the Magical Sanctum. Going from how one will be released every single week, and it looks as though we will only be getting 3 upon release. I say only, but that is still a lot. 3 new monsters, guys. I mean, come on, that's as much as we got when Ethereal Island released, literally. That is actually sort of funny to think about as well, because Magical Sanctum seems to take inspiration from some bits to Ethereal Island, as we'll get into in a minute, which is a cool linkage there, I guess. Let's talk about that while we're here then. then. So as for what is going to be going on with this island, it is very questionable at the moment, as we don't have much information as to how the island is going to work. The two standing points that we have as towards how this island is going to work is that they will either be purchased through the market or they will be teleported on over. Going from the trailer, it looks like a gateway was found into Magical Sanctum, and going from that, it would make sense that we will have to teleport our single element magicals across. Going from that as well, I would advise you guys to have single element magicals in your hotels ready, and some food as well. If I was to assume what level will be required to teleport them across, I would say level 15, purely going from Ethereal and Sugarbush Island as two main teleporting islands. They may limit that down to level 5 depending on how nice they're feeling, but I would go with level 15 for this one. Purchasing single element magicals, purely just going off of the trailer, seems quite unlikely. Obviously I think you will be able to purchase them, but I don't think you'll be able to purchase them for coins alike to on the magical islands. I think it will be a case that you'll have to teleport them over in order to not get them for diamonds, and however much you may have to pay for them in diamonds. As for the island itself, it's beautiful, guys. Look at it in all of its glory. It's got a berry theme going on. In my reaction, I pointed out it's like a cherry orchard, and that is certainly the case. It literally screams being a cherry orchard, and the decorations and things really link towards the magical elements that we have on each island, and they've done really well in integrating it into its design. If we have a look at the trees and things, those reminisce back to Fairy Island, and the antlers that come out from the island itself are obviously very fairy tale-y and link back to the fairy element. Also, the lanterns as well, all scattered across, reminisce back to the light element and light island, with them glowing up, which gives it a beautiful looking atmosphere, I must say. And the background too, if we have a look, seems to go back to the Psychic Island background, and that appears to be the linkage towards what's going on there. Unfortunately, we don't get a look at what the critter is on this island, and I'm very excited to see what the critter is going to be. It doesn't appear to have as much psychic element linkages here, this island, as to the other elements. If I were to say, if we have a look towards the bottom, you can see, I would say, a Bone Island linkage too. It seems to be very Bone Island-esque, the bluish tone towards the bottom. The nose, I would say, is probably related to the psychic element, as that seems very basic in comparison to the rest of the features behind this island. The lovely decorative lights really give this island an atmosphere though, and the antlers as well, and making it look like an animal. This Titan is very unique once more. The Titans really do go out of their own way to just be really unique in comparison to the Colossals, and once again we can see that being set here, which is lovely. I really like how the obstacles are coming out of the ground. It's extraterrestrial, it fits the magical vibe. The element as well behind the Magical Sanctum, well, not the element, the sigil, the core design that's been showcased behind this island goes back to the Ethereal Island path we were looking at as well. It's the runic path, and we theorized about that long ago and seen it come forward as being the magical sigil overall, acting as a design behind all of the magical elements and putting them all together and behind an island after all is very interesting, especially how it's not necessarily integrated as an element but rather just a sigil behind the island itself, which we've never really seen before, and it's really cool, especially from the Ethereal Island links that we have too behind the Blue Gas and Ethereal Island. I love the links. We simply can't go on, you know, without talking about the links that we have in this trailer, because oh my god, that trailer was the best trailer we have ever received. The lore that is tied to this island with Ethereal Island is great, and the gas opening a gateway to the island is absolutely revolutionary in terms of the lore. It adds a new location inside the Pocket Dimension. It's a really great trailer, and I can't say enough. That trailer was the best trailer we have received for any update. The song of this island is shown towards the end of the trailer as well, and the vibes that are going on in this towards the end of the trailer in the song are wonderful. We have a dark gothic like vibe going on, and we've not had that kind of a theme once again since Wobbling Islands. Flute flies, flutes, and Flora's instrument complement each other really well. It was really cool to hear Pheromine again, also in all their vocalist glory, and Placula too from Bone Island. Bone Island, my favourite island. I have to fit that in there where I can, I guess. Seeing as though we don't have any vocalist natural monsters on this island, it means that they're going to have to delve into adding more vocalist new monsters. Usually with new monsters we see more instrumental monsters rather than vocalists, and that obviously does make sense so that the song can sound as great as they intend to make it. With that, however, we have been seeing sometimes, due to natural monsters often being vocalists, not as many magical vocalist monsters, I would say it feels like. So seeing more vocalists on this island will certainly be exciting. I'd say that around 3 of the new magicals will be vocalists, going from how there has to be vocalists inside of the song so that it can be an all-rounded song. So it's going to be exciting to see what they do with the vocals, as honestly the vocal magical monsters often are some of the most memorable ones, so it's going to be cool to see that come into the game. For the release of the island, we know that it's sometime in April. I know you've all been waiting for me to talk about it. Well, we're here. The island seems finished, going from the image that we have at the end. The designs are all finished, the animations are all likely finished. It's all probably finished. I think it's just a case of waiting for the App Store to review the update maybe. However, don't quote me on that. There's probably other things going into the update, and obviously developments is difficult, and I'm sure that they're doing their best to get out there as soon as possible. Going from the vague release date, I would say that this is just being given as a general release date because they don't want to give a confirmation of when it's going to release, because they don't know themselves as to when it's going to release yet. They're just trying to get the update out there as soon as they can, and that makes a lot of sense from a developing standpoint, as you want to get that content out there. I've seen lots of people commenting about how it could literally be today. Well, we know that's not the case now, or tomorrow, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think going from the vague release date, it appears as though it may be coming later on rather than any time in the short term. It's not going to come anytime in the next few days. I think at earliest it's going to release next week, this update, going from the vague release date at the end of April 2021, and how they'll be trying to get it out as soon as possible. But it'll be cool to speculate upon what is going to happen in the meantime, won't it, obviously? And we all know that it's coming, so it doesn't matter when it comes. When it comes, it comes, and we enjoy it. So the confirmation that we have that the update is coming is good enough for me, I say, and I imagine it will be for you guys, as it's going to be epic discovering this whenever it comes out. As for past releases, however, we must talk about past releases, as that does tie into all of this. With the Colossingum, for example, we had a trailer drop, and rather than an update releasing on the exact same day, it came out later. We saw the update come out the day afterwards. So going from that, I think a lot of people are going towards the fact that we may be seeing Magical Sanctum in the next few days, going from the Colossingum. However, just from the release date at the end, it wasn't quite as conclusive as the Colossingum. With the Colossingum, it was like, oh, it's going to come real soon, whereas with this, it's April 2021. So I think we're going to have to be waiting a bit later for this one. But when it comes again, it will come, and we will be able to explore it together and have a really, really fun time. So it doesn't matter us waiting a little while at all, I would say, for this update, as it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to check it out with you all. For now, though, make sure to like this if you enjoyed, and to subscribe down below so you can stay tuned for all my Magical Sanctum videos. For now, guys, bye!